Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. There's one in every family. That person who is always questioning the status quo. The one who's never satisfied with doing it the way it's always been done. Well, I'm very fortunate to hold that title in my family. And I will tell you that in my family there are many people throughout the ages that have held that title. I think it comes from my DNA, from my roots in Ireland. And on both sides of my family, there were people who questioned the status quo and always were looking for a better way, looking for their own way of doing something. Let me start with my dad's father. He was a country doctor, and on his wedding night, he was captured by the British soldiers, and he was imprisoned for 2 years after the Easter Rising of 1916. While he was in prison, he decided to fight for POW status by growing his beard, of which became very, very long. He could have lived a quiet life. He could have made a good salary as a doctor, but he decided to go his own way, to question the norms, to question the rules, and to fight for freedom for Ireland. On my mother's side, my grandmother's mother attended hedge schools. She had to do that in secret. As soon as she was old enough, she sailed to America, leaving her siblings behind. She also had to find her own way. I started at a very young age, questioning the status quo. And at my 10th birthday, I'll tell you a little story. With a nod from my father, I looked at my cake, I blew out the candles, and with a squeal of delight, I carved my cake in as many shapes as I could think of. Needless to say, my mother was not too happy. After college, I was faced with a health situation, and I had to undergo radiation and chemotherapy. And I was a very young woman at the time. I decided I was not going to let this take me down. This was merely an inconvenience in my life. And so I looked at it as a game. I said, well, it's the 70s. I think I'm going to wear scarves like Rhoda from the Mary Tyler Moore Show. I think I'm going to don my beautiful radiation tan and let everybody know I've been taking trips to Hawaii. That was my way of dealing with that. As a teacher, I noticed, and that was my first job in my career. As a teacher, I noticed that the hiring process was really out of whack, and the principals were not getting the people that they wanted. So, again, I questioned this. I went to my principal, and I said, I've got a couple of ideas for you. She got me in touch with the superintendent. So upon completion of my master's degree in IO psychology, I took a job with the Office of Education in the San Francisco Archdiocese. And in that job, I overhauled the teacher applicant database, and I taught the principals how to hire people with some great strategies that they were very thankful for many years. I had many masses said for me. This really helped me transition into my new career in human resources. I will tell you that in all of my jobs in human resources, I have been ambitious and I have questioned the status quo. But this has not always served me well. As I advanced as a manager, I started to feel some pushback. I didn't know where this was coming from. It was a new environment. I was no longer with nuns and female principals in an educational environment. I was in a corporate America with mostly men. And I didn't know, where was this pushback? I had never gotten this before. So I had to speculate. Perhaps there was something deeper to this pushback that I was getting. as I look back at my 15 years in corporate America, I saw women struggle a lot. They were trying to advance, and it wasn't happening for them. I even lost a couple of jobs, and I had to get out of corporate America with a little bit of self-esteem that I had left. 8 years ago, I started my consulting practice. In that practice, I have coached many leaders, and I've created a repertoire of why men and women derail, and especially why women get stuck. And today, that questioning of the status quo serving me very well, and it's very strong. Because I came up with an idea about a year ago to help women navigate through the senior leadership challenges that they have. And now I have created a year-long leadership development program for women called Rise Leadership Forum. And hopefully we're going to start next month. So in closing, I'd like to share with you a little, some words from Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. And Viktor Frankl was in the death camps, the Jewish death camps during World War II. And he said this. He said, everything can be taken from you, but the last of human freedoms, the freedom to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Choosing my own way, questioning the status quo, this has helped me get where I am today. Thank you, Madam President.